Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to...
Round 2, fight!
The fact that you paused when I was
knew you
trying
were
not
going
to
to.
cough.
Oh, God.
You just want to do it over?
3, 2, 1. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to TCG University. It's me, Noah, here with...
James.
And we're going to be doing another Best Damn Deck. This time, we're targeting...
Soirees.
the premier deck of Opus 16. Probably... Would you say it's the only time in Final Fantasy history that we're aware of where they just built a deck in the set? Usually you have like pieces and stuff for decks throughout sets, but I think this is the one set where the deck itself is completely built.
Secondarily was Sopho, and Sopho wasn't very good together.
No, it's garbage. It doesn't even have a backup line to play off of.
Sopho was like they put a couple of Sophos and everything, so you could kind of do little things, but
it wasn't
really like Soirees,
Yeah, we're talking about Soirees. General things, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. I have
Check
no
us
room
out
to
on
put all
Patreon. I'm pretty sure, as of right now, the plan is to get this out there on Patreon first.
Yeah. For those of you watching this, you will see it on Patreon a week before. If you're watching it on YouTube, you're a week behind. Patreon is down below, obviously, as you can see there. So we're going to go over the general things that we have on the last ones. I added a new slide in for weaknesses, so we're going to go over the core of the deck, the text that you can put in the deck, the weaknesses as well, the summons, and then the limit breaks. So let's just kick right into it. The core of the deck. So, Soirees. A lot of this deck will stem from Opus 16 cards, so it's kind of easy to get, and really you buy a box of Opus 16, you'll pull a lot of this. These are what I would say the 5 most important cards in a Soiree deck. We have Morze'S, Metal, Vesvia, Shinju, and Amber. In order, or actually we'll just go...
There's only 4 other ones that aren't included on this one, which is going to be Lexa, Elvis, Irwin, and Petchioda, which is my favorite one.
That doesn't do jack all.
Here's the thing. I actually think the Tanuki cat guy is great in wool Soirees. Because you can go, cool, Elvis or Lexa down, pitch tap other things to play Petchioda to restand everything. So you tap it again for wool to restand everything again.
As long as you have the water, yeah.
As long as you have the way to build this.
Yeah. So
you could do cheeky things.
We're gonna start with the card that makes the set run, or the engine run, realistically, is Metal. Metal is a 4-cost 8K adventurer FFBE that says the job Morze'S Soiree members you control gain if this character is dealt damage by your opponent's summons or abilities, the damage becomes 0 instead. And this character cannot be broken by opponents' summons or abilities that don't deal damage, which is kind of funny. So they can't take damage and they can't be broken unless they're dealt damage. So essentially, they're hexproofed on anything that straight breaks or deals damage.
Yep.
One of the best versions of hexproof in the game. On top of that, she says when she enters, you can choose a job Morze'S Soiree member in your break zone and play it onto the field. So she almost always costs 2, realistically, and then she puts something else out for you that's free every time. She is her break zone is her most important thing. Next, we're going to go with the backups. So we're going to start with Amber. Amber is a 4-drop backup. Morze'S Soiree's member, FFBE, that is an EX purse that states when she enters the field, you can search for 1 card named Madame Edel or a job Morze'S Soiree's member and add it to your hand. Am I saying Morze'S? I may have been saying that incorrectly.
Soirees,
we'll just say Soirees. I was reading the cards, whatever. So yeah, you get to search for a Soiree member or you get to search for Edel. She's your linchpin in the deck as well. Her and Edel are the 2 main pieces of the deck. They search, 1 plays and 1 searches. Amber being an EX person, a backup, and not limited to a 1-of, makes her one of the best cards in the deck because of that. Next.
If you wanted to hit this deck, in my opinion, you hit Amber.
I think you hit Shinju. But
Shinju,
if you want to stop the deck from functioning ever, you hit Shinju. I don't want to stop the
deck. I just want to slow it down a little bit.
Sure, you hit Amber to like a 1-of. Because how many games have you played where people pack 3 Ambers, you go for your first point of damage on them, and they're like, oh, cool, Amber, sick.
Yep.
And their deck's running. Next is Shinju. Shinju is a true drop
Shinju is
Soiree
the
member.
Linchpin of the deck.
All 3 of these cards. Yeah, she is the linchpin. All 3 of these cards are very important.
Hard linchpin for it. You can kind of do some things without Metal.
Yeah. So Shinju states that the cost required to cast your Soiree members can be paid with CP of any element. The Soiree members forwards you control can form a party with any other Soiree's member of any element. There's only 1 card I can think of off the top of my head, which we'll get to. That gets rid of Shinju off the board. But with Edel in play. But we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that when we get to the weaknesses.
Well, you have a thing for Shinju and weaknesses?
Well, we just have cards that I think are the weakness to the deck. Stuff like that. Next, we have Morald. Morald is probably your go-to attack card. Morald's a 4-drop 8K that says if you control 2 or more Soiree members, she gains haste. And then ETB, if she enters the field, if you choose a forward your opponent controls, if you control 4 or more Soiree members, you get to break it. Which is almost always happening.
Yes.
Because you'll have at least Amber and Shinju in your back row and like one other forward out, probably Vesvia, or one other backup out, probably
Lexa
Elvis.
as a back row as well if you want.
Yeah, or Lexa. And you just play Morald and you break something.
Lexa, which also gives your Metal summon protection, which is sick.
Yeah. You break something and then you have a haster as well, which is really good.
Breaking something, then immediately attacking with your dude's pretty sick.
And then lastly, in the core cards we have is Vesvia. Vesvia is a 4-drop EX burst that says when she enters the field, if you control 2 or more Soiree members, you draw a card. She's also an AK. Sorry, I forgot to add that. When she enters, if you control 4 or more, she draws a card. So she has the potential to draw 2, which she almost always does realistically, meaning she's just a filter for your deck. She cycles you through. Look what you got me doing with all this coughing now. I have to clear my throat. So these are the 5 core cards of the deck. These are the cards you always want to put in the deck no matter what. Because if you don't, the deck doesn't really function the way it's supposed to. This deck is usually played as a 4-color deck, which we'll get into why. Wool being one of the reasons why.
Yep.
But also just because the deck can make 4 colors, minus water is the one where it lacks the most. Oddly enough, because it also plays lightning. But it doesn't have any water backups. It doesn't have lightning backups. Like, Morald is the outlier overall.
Morald's the outlier.
But, yeah. So moving on, we will go to the tech cards. So Soiree has an abundance of tech cards you can realistically put in. These are the top 5 that we kind of agreed on.
I had a list of like 8.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Our lists were actually like very similar because these are just the most impactful cards in the meta right now, and these are the cards that help push Soiree's game plan the most, in our opinion. So first we have Une, which is a 6 CP Earth and Water Forward 9K that states on enter, or I guess that you can. It has an alternate cost cast where you can remove 2 water and or earth summons from your break zone to reduce it by 2, so it can be a 5 or 4 CP. But on enter, you choose a forward and a backup the opponent controls and bounce them both back to their hand.
Controlling piece.
Yep, and then you can tap her and pick up a summon out of your break zone. Next, we have Wool. Everybody should know at this point what Wool does, especially if you want to check out our best dev deck on Wool. Wool is a 4 CP, a fire, water, earth, and wind. 10K with haste, first strike, brave. I feel like I'm forgetting a keyword, but I think that's haste, first strike, and brave. That can only be produced by backups. And then on enter, you get to restand all your backups, draw 1 card, and then it also says you can tap him to deal 5K to something. Next, we have what's the full name?
Rougeadine.
Sky Serpent General Rougeadine, who is basically Wool Jr. He's a 4-cost 9K with haste, first strike, and brave that says when he attacks, he does 3 different things when he attacks. He gives something 1K haste, he gives something 1K first strike, and he gives something 1K in brave. 3 separate autos.
He gives Wool stats.
He gives Wool stats. He gives essentially his keywords to anything else he wants, but he gets to split them up how he does it. Really cool. And he also, because he has haste, he gets to essentially make 2 things go instantly.
I think
next,
the only deck that plays Rougeadine as much right now is the
Ice Rufus deck.
Express Ice.
Yeah. Express Ice. Espresso. Doesn't work. Never mind. Express Ice. Next is Cecil. 5 CP Cecil states that when he enters the field, you can play a character of cost 4 or less from your hand. If it's a Cat 4 character, you get to restand 2 backups. And then when 1 or more characters you control are chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities, your opponent doesn't pay, or if your opponent doesn't pay 2, you get to cancel the effect. So he just taxes.
Gives you extra protection on top of Murr.
Basically, he protects Edel more so.
Yes.
Because Edel keeps the rest of your board alive.
Yep.
Edel is susceptible to a lot of things,
But
cut in half when Lexa
everything
enters
else.
the board. But she protects every other important piece that matters realistically.
Yep.
And then lastly, we have Zidane. 2 CP, Fire Wind, that says he can't be blocked by forwards that cost 3 or more. And then on enter, your opponent reveals their hand, you remove a card from their hand, they draw. And then on swing, he does the exact same thing. He just gets rid of key pieces that could stop you, realistically. The draw is a little random because you don't know what they're drawing, but if you play 3 ubs at max, so if you just count what your opponent's losing, you should be fine. So yeah, those are the tech cards of the deck. There's obviously other things you can add in, like for instance, I think Luca could be added to the deck just because she makes all of your FFBE characters.
You
which
backups, not tech.
huh?
You want to put that in backups, not tech?
There's not a backups section.
Oh, I thought we did backups.
No.
Oh. This is one of the only ones where I probably would have done backups. Just because of how specific the backups can be.
It's really Luca and Tyro are the only ones that I feel are the most
Luca,
important.
Tyro,
And maybe Thornton.
Theodore? Or Thornton, not Theodore.
Theodore in the back row.
Thornton.
That's my favorite.
Well, you could also do like Mog FFPEs, nice.
But you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
I'm taking it out of mine, so.
Yeah. So yeah, like Luca, for instance, you can play in the back row because Luca buffs up all of your guys by 1. So instead of 8Ks, they're 9Ks. So they're a lot harder to get around. They're a lot harder to kill.
Here was the literal list I sent Noah. We got Ignis, Une, Y'shtola, Zidane, Fusoya, the 5-drop water one.
5-drop water, Fusoya.
Rujadine, Gilgamesh FFPE, which isn't up here because you can do cool 7, especially with Rujadine being really good and Wool being 4 of your colors. Then you have Maralt, and you get to play Irwin and Gilgamesh, obviously, itself. Get your 7 colors real easy. You got the Gilgamesh from, I think it's 18. Says you remove a Wool, break a 4 cost. You got Axstar, which is also not on this list, which I thought was going to be on this list. Which says trigger in the X burst, which you could put a bunch into the deck because it's easy. And also search for a FFPE, which is everything inside the Soiree
that matters.
Main package.
Yep. There's a lot of cards you can put into the deck, but these were the 5 that we kind of agreed upon.
Yeah.
I try to keep these condensed because these are just, ways to get you in and to see what you could be up against or what you want to play with, stuff like that. So after the tech, I made this cool slide, which I'll probably do moving on forward. We have weaknesses. These are cards that I picked that I think are specific silver bullets to this deck in some form or fashion.
A little rough up there.
So first one's Mist Dragon. The main reason is that Mist Dragon will remove their break zone. If they try to recur anything with Edel, you tell them no.
Immediately.
Next is Irvine. Irvine is a more consistent Mist Dragon because it on enter has the potential to remove 4 things,
just snipe 2,
or it just snipes 2. So if they're trying to set up early, you just start removing things. Who cares?
And it's so easy to play. It's one of my most hated basic cards right now.
Next is Exodus. I'm going to wait to do the ice one because I like that ice one last. Exodus is the next one. Exodus is super simple. You're playing in Soirees. They play a bunch of 4-cost dudes, realistically. Exodus says, honestly, name a number, both you and your opponent. All 4s of that named number go into the break zone. They don't break, meaning they get around Edel's safety or Edel's hexproof protection. What's up? So Exodus is really good for board wiping, and it only costs 4. So really, you're paying 4 to kill a board of maybe 3 or 4 dudes, which isn't terrible. And then I also put Kuchulain on here.
Kuchaspel.
Sorry, Kuchaspel. I don't know why I put Kuchaspel on here. That just says tap, and any damage dealt to things can't be reduced, meaning Edel reducing things to 0 doesn't happen. So you also get around Edel through that. That's how fire can really do it easily. But then lastly, literally the card that has soloed out the Soiree deck when it came out in any way forward on past, Arcanist. Arcanist is a 2-drop ice backup that says pay 2, tap it. 1 ice, right? Is it? Yeah.
It's 1 ice.
1 ice, 1 of any color. Pay 2, tap it. Name a number. Forwards of that number cannot attack.
Yep.
So that will.
It's the same thing as Exodus, but you just never take them off the board.
They never get taken off the board, so they can't play anything else either. They can't progress their game state if they're stuck playing nothing but 4-cost cards. Yep. And if they play anything lower, you can probably handle it with everything else you have.
I will say this: Arcanist is very good right now in the entire meta for what we are right now.
Arcanist, as we're standing right now, is May. What are we recording? May 6th. May 6th of 2024. We are recording this video. Soirees still exists with Wool, and it can stop that. We have
3 still exists.
Wool 3, meaning Gilgamesh never gets to go online, and only 7 CP Wool is the only thing touching you realistically. So Arcanist stops that. You also have Refia and her gang under that Warrior of Lights deck, which a lot of the ones that matter the most are going to be 3-drops like Refia and Ferris. Honestly, you could just stop the Wool. Even still, Refia's tap is whatever. But
actually, you're fine with Refia tapping.
Yeah, but telling them they can't attack because they build a big board. Telling them that 2 dudes or 3 dudes, depending, can attack is really good. And Arcanist is also multiplayable. So if you wanted to, you can double Arcanist. Oh. That looks like a multiplayable symbol.
Well, it probably is.
Let me double check real quick.
I believe it is. It's a basic name.
Yeah, but now I'm curious to make sure. See, because now I'm yeah, whatever. Hey, remember last video? Ramble, James.
It's the perfect time to cough. What are you talking about? Ramble.
Multiplayable, which is hilarious. Because then if you wanted to, you could just double up on numbers.
Man, I think Arcanist is so good right now.
It's pitch two cards, tap 2 backups, and tell them that 2 different numbers can attack.
It's the only reason I want to play Ice right now.
Yeah, Arcanist is really
true.
good.
I love Ice.
Arcanist, yeah, but Arcanist is probably one of the reasons, especially because Imina came out, so you can just go Imina Arcanist, and you just lock them down for the rest of the game if you feel like it.
It's so nice.
Nextly, we have the summons. Summons. So these are the 5 cards that I think are the most important summons to put into the deck.
But honestly, with Soiree, you can pull like
you could put realistically anything in if you want. So I'm gonna go with the 2 iffy ones. I think these are the ones you can replace around. Is going to be 6 CP Leviathan and Cuchulain. Cuchulain's pay 1 water, blank a forward, and then draw a card. It's an EX burst as well, and then 6 CP Leviathan is cost 6. EX burst that says when you cast it, you get 2 of 3 modes. You either bounce a forward, pick up a water character or water forward from your break zone, or you select a light or dark forward and put it at the top or bottom of the deck.
I actually think that is one of the most important summons in the game right now.
Leviathan?
Yep.
Oh, for sure. I think Leviathan.
I think it's literally just Amma, Mist Dragon, Cuchulain.
Cuchulain?
Sorry, you were on Leviathan.
I was on Leviathan. I think Leviathan's good because Leviathan, if anybody, I'm still very scared of it ever happening to me again. If anybody ever decides to just go Larsa into X-Death and I hit a Leviathan, I dealt with the X-Death. I play a Leviathan, I dealt with the X-Death.
I think Cuchulain is one of the most important cards in the deck right now.
Well, blanking anything is very good.
Especially in the, like, here's
especially in the current meta when you can tell Refia no
the
before
3 biggest things to worry about in the meta right now. Wool 7, the 7-drop Wool.
Yep.
Which protects everything.
Yep.
You Cuchulain it, and they literally have to go, do I do Wool 7 now? Or do I just let it happen? If they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. So
it also stops the Gilgamesh. Because that deck, in my opinion, the Wool 7 deck always runs on Gilgamesh as its big kill con or Axstar.
Well, you have to hit the Wool 7 first.
Wait, why?
Because you go to Cuchulain.
Well, yeah, sure.
Wool 7
but it's the same thing either way, right?
If you're board wiping, yeah. But like Wool 7, board wipe it. Refia doesn't get to restand because you do it before attack phase, and then Ramza, you force it to happen, or you do it while you have no forwards, and then you get rid of Ramza. The 3 most important cards I feel like in our meta right now.
Cuchulain just stops everything.
Cuchulain is
a good card.
Good.
It being a summon means it gets around a lot of things. It's not everything's got to have summon proof. It's got to have maybe ability proof to some degree. Next, the main 3. We have Kusith, Amaterasu, and Mist Dragon. Mist Dragon should need no explanation, but we're always going to. Mist Dragon
was in the weaknesses earlier. You saw it.
Yeah, Mist Dragon will remove a break zone, which is really good for you. It can also dull one of your dudes and stop them from receiving damage.
I think
is it damage or broken?
Nope,
damage. You can still break it. And then it also chooses a summon a 5 or less and cancels it. Solid. Mist Dragon cancels so much because so many good summons are under that 5 cost.
Except for that Leviathan.
Except for Leviathan, which is another reason why I think 6 is the magic number in this game, oddly enough. Porum, 5 or less. Odin, 5 or less. Mist Dragon, 5 or less. 6 gets you above it. Every time.
I bet you're a real big fan of wind, huh? Everything 5 or more.
Everything 5 or more. And I don't like playing wind.
No.
Oddly enough. Not yet. Next.
Nobody ever plays too many things over 5.
Yeah. Next is Kusith. Kusith is a 2 CP EX burst Earth summon that says on cast you can select a forward or backup in your break zone, add it back to your hand. So he just recurs anything that you realistically need.
Is disgusting.
Who cares if he doesn't recur you a summon? I don't care if a summon doesn't recur a summon. We have Unes. It can recur an Une, and then also go to help cheapen the cost of the Une.
Yes, it can.
Which is kind of funny.
It says pick a Boone, neg 2 costs.
Yeah. Next is Amaterasu. Again, still stated, probably the best summon in the game because of its ability to cancel any auto ability.
And then hit the dude.
And then shoot something for 8.
Hitting the dude is the only reason it's the best summon. If you didn't hit the dude.
Cancel auto is good, though.
I mean, yeah.
But at that point, I guess
Leviathan
you could make the
it.
statement that like 7 is almost on par if it doesn't hit, if Ratsu doesn't hit a dude, because 7 just says snake bite, which is pitch to do it. Yeah.
You got a 3 cost water Leviathan.
But Leviathan doesn't get a balance unless you remove 10. They literally just made
it
water.
has a bad part, but
they gave water
if
Amma,
not killing.
But they gave it a bad Amma. And okay, so hold on. I just want to state this real quick. The elements that have their own version of Ratsu or Ratsu, right?
Like
Fire has Ratsu.
Yeah.
Which cancels anything.
Yep.
Water has Leviathan.
Yep.
Which will cancel any auto on a forward.
Yep.
But not backups.
Yeah, that's
because Ratsu
they
stops
figured out
Kodos.
Ratsu was too nuts. Okay. And then you have
Wind has 2 different ones. Wind has Y'shtola to cancel any auto or any summon by popping herself.
I guess.
And then it also has Fina to cancel any auto.
Fina, I would say, is
herself.
more of like the Ama.
Well, Fina's the
Leviathan.
hand trap more. Yeah. Yeah. But Lightning doesn't have anything like that to my knowledge.
Not right now.
Besides
Seven's
Fail
the closest,
Thanos
like,
to
you
some
had.
degree.
And Phil Thanos
But that's
at that
because
point
he's a
is
lightning rod.
Phil Thanos, yeah, this is more of like.
And then Earth doesn't have anything like that. Like Earth is so.
Ice has
packed
a
full of
responsive
stuff.
one, but like you have to have 2 copies of Shulk.
Yeah, Ice has Shulk.
And honestly, let's be honest, Shulk is a much better version than all those if you're able to play it. Because Shulk says cancel any amount of autos.
If there's a bunch of auto stacks, you go cool on the stack Shulk, cancel them all.
Any of them. Mine were in there. I don't care. Cancel them all.
Whatever, as long as Shulk goes through. So yeah, that covers up the summons. I mean, other things you can put in depending on.
Like, here's the thing: you can play Tyro in the back row and play almost anything you want. You playing 4 colors, you'll have Thoradin or you'll have Luca. Mm-hmm. So you have water.
Oh, don't forget Elvis. Elvis is also a core part of this deck that you want to put in, but it's not necessary.
Yeah,
but it
Elvis,
is like one of your kill cards.
Elvis is a very good backup that you will play, but you'll only play it once and hope you get it as in the X burst.
Yeah,
it's a 2-drop fire backup that says
deal 3k for every Soiree member on the board.
Yep, and obviously Shinju makes it free, so it's just a pitch 1 play, and you always hope you hit it late game because you'll have 2, possibly 3 in the back row, so it's always a 9k hit, which is nuts.
So good.
So you always have fire. I think any of the ones that say tap backups to play thing, draw a card, do thing.
Those are pretty good.
Very good.
So that would be a lot of the
Soirees.
new ones, like Anima, Odin. Do we get a win, Alexander?
Every element got one.
Titan. Yeah, but was the win
It
one?
was Carbuncle.
Carbuncle?
Yep. It was a Carbuncle that said it was Mist Dragon, but then you draw a card. It was the bad part of Mist Dragon, but you draw a card.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. It was this dude can't be broken. Draw a card if you paid with backups.
Notice how impactful that is for me.
I think it's really good. I just don't think Earth needs it right now.
Ooh, whoops.
Here's the thing. We joke about a lot of decks being toolboxy. Soiree's is the most toolboxy deck they've ever printed. Mm-hmm. The only thing close enough toolboxy with it would be actual just like wool.deck, the Earth Water, like I'm color fixing .deck. But honestly, this is just a better one because you come with a pre-engine that's not just wool.
Oh, Carbuncle's not the worst part of Mist Dragon.
It's the dull.
Well, I guess
it's technically the worst part of Mist Dragon.
which is fine because Mist Dragon's not bad.
Yeah.
No. But listen, hold on. Sorry, Carbuncle. Choose a character you control. Dull it until the end of turn. Until the end of turn, it gains. This character cannot be broken, and this character cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities.
Which is a little better, but
it completely hexproofs your character realistically because pinging it won't kill it. Straight breaking it won't kill it, and summons can't touch it. It's actually Carbuncle's kind of cool. I take that back. Carbuncle gives a card hexproof,
which is sick,
but it dulls the card in the process. So hopefully you got something that restands.
Earth isn't a color that you're trying to color fix for a backup like that.
No, it's not.
That's the problem. Is Earth doesn't need it to do it.
Oh, and Shiva for ice.
Yeah. Shiva's here's the thing.
Belias.
I hate.
I think actually out of all of them, I think Belias is the worst one in my opinion.
I think it's just because fire doesn't do anything right now that needs it.
Well, yeah, but like Alexander swaps damage on forwards, nuts,
crazy,
great
it's
protection.
Honestly crazy.
Anima removes the dude,
which is honestly, I think Anima's the second best one.
Odin breaks a 3 or 4.
Yep.
Fine. Shiva blanks a board.
The best one.
Carbuncle hexproofs a dude, and then Belias just goes all +3 and 7k, dude.
I actually think Shiva's the best one. Just Ice only has one good deck, and it's Express Ice. Like in my opinion, I think that's the only deck that can compete with the meta.
You should build if you can get away. Sorry, slight tangent. If you can get away with it,
I didn't want to tangent too much.
It's gotta happen. We're not. It's free flow. Slight tangent. Okay. If you can get an Arcanist up and running fast enough, and you can build your back row in ice, which shouldn't be too difficult anymore.
I'm an Arcanist Kafka, I know.
Yeah.
I have.
You can play Crystal Exarch and then just start free playing dudes on main too. And just slow rolling the game off of that as long as they can't ever touch it.
It's not terrible.
Continuing now.
Yeah.
So that wraps up the summons realistically. And then last but no, actually least, limit breaks. So these are the cards I put in. James, you might be a little bit different
here's
for
the
me.
thing. Well, I said it just earlier. This is the biggest toolbox deck of the entire game.
Yeah, but there's specific limit breaks that you're never going to play in this.
Yeah, there are
that
certain
we
ones,
have
like,
currently.
Here's the thing. I don't think you'll ever play Titus. Titus is a little
You very
too
well
specific.
could,
I'm saying
you need
could.
the water.
But water's not your strongest
Actually,
color.
it's not that bad because all you would need is Tyro to cast him, and then a Vesvia and one more water backup. Or
Yeah, you need like a Thornton,
which is
Luca,
whatever,
and
yeah.
a Vesvia in hand. Yeah.
Like, it's
not
doable.
impossible. I just don't think you'll ever get to that point that
Yeah.
you need to play that. Like, if you're playing that, something in your game's not going great.
Or if you
Right.
play it just because you're ahead, you cements the game
Sure,
for you.
but,
That's
like,
the whole point.
Leo's easy. Here's the thing. Any of the 3-drops are easy because you play Tyro. Like,
Yeah,
there's
but
no
like
reason.
Zach's not worth it. A 3K ping
I
isn't
think
worth
Zach
it in my
is
opinion.
fine.
If there's an Elvis.
Not even. I think Zach's fine for the sake of wool. It turns wool into an 8K ping on anything. It's neat. You only need like one of it. It also says at any point you can trade with something equivalently.
Sure.
It means if you're at the midway point of where like you're just bashing heads, trying to like gain game state, and somebody goes, you attack with something and they go, oh, I'll raise this with some ability in hand, or like whatever the backup you play in Kingsglaive is to bump this up to where this lives. You just go, cool, and main phase 2, kill it anyways. Like, it's just it's a simple 3K ping that can just equate game state if something they do just slightly goes out of way.
I like when my ping's a 5K. And Gino,
But like,
yeah, Leo will draw you a card
Leo's
regardless.
the easiest one.
Leo, it's funny. So we went to the Ankeny local qualifier, and a few of the people there were talking, and they're
was
like,
yesterday.
yeah. They were like, go to play when all else fails. Play Leo. It just cycles you a card and puts a forward on the board.
When there's nothing to do, Leo is your game plan.
Yep. Toto is just a board wipe on demand.
And honestly,
you play enough Earth that
I'm
Toto's not
saying
too
this.
terrible, but
I don't like Toto.
that's fine.
The most I've been playing it.
You're going to say this, and then you're going to be like, Toto's really good in this mono Earth deck. Whoa, spoiler.
No, I'd rather just play actual shit Toto. It's an Earth backup.
Gross.
It's an Earth backup.
Gross.
Spoiler, that may be the
You're
next
supposed to build your back
best
row
thing.
super fast. That Toto is worthless.
You know, you
That
play,
Toto actually activates.
Hey, here's the thing: you play Ignis, you can blow up a backward and then go shed Toto. I'm just saying.
Gross. Hey, remember when I did that to you?
Yeah, I know.
I didn't play Ignis. No, wait. I didn't.
You may have.
No,
It was either
no.
that or Garland.
You hit me with something where I was like, I guess I'll break my back up, and I broke my back up, and then I hit a Kusa, then picked it back up, and I was like, board wipe.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
But Cloud's easy to play. You play Morals if you have them in the hand, you can just pitch them. Or if you have Tyro, you can just tap 2, pitch, play it. Easy to play. Sergi's, same thing. Tyro. If you're playing Irwin from hand, if you have any other ice that you're playing, like Gilgamesh or whatever, you can pitch it. Easy to play. Nobody touches Wind because Wind sucks.
Yeah, the win cards are not worth
Depending
it.
on how you're
If
playing.
if that Yuri said any Chilinka, he'd be so much better.
I'd honestly,
That Yuri would actually be nuts.
I'd prefer if it was just FFCC deliberate.
I look. He just has play a Chilinka forward to cost 2 or less, and there's only 2 Chilinka forwards to play.
All I'm
One
saying,
gives
if
him
you just
haste,
got
and
bigger
one
code for
breaks
all
the
your
monster.
FFCCs. If you get 1,000 for every one of your FFCCs and played a specific
You
style.
just want to play FFCC.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
but like
overall,
I'm trying to make them playable. Like,
yeah,
you
well,
could build
with
an
his
FCC.
theme, just open up the range of Chilinkas.
Yeah,
Let him
sure.
play the 3 or less. Who cares?
Yeah, that's whatever.
He plays the one that
I mean,
breaks
I am
on
down
party,
for
or
that
he
too.
plays the
I mean,
backup, and he gives something the ability to attack twice and brave.
But like, yeah.
And Ace doesn't do jack all right now.
Yeah, Ace is kind of useless at this point. No mono win deck really needs to play it either. Your game plan
Depending on the
functions.
mono wind you play. If you're
Yeah.
playing for the cast count, then no, you don't. But if you want to play like
And most mono wins are, unfortunately, right now.
which is boring.
Yeah, but wind's not fast enough to keep up right now. But yeah, so like cast
I think
count
it could
already
be.
does what the game plan is for the big drop Ace anyway. So like, you can play Leela. Leela's not bad. Little Leela.
Yeah, as long as you're not playing like
As long as you're
Shiryu or
not
something in
playing
your deck.
Rujidine or any other
Yeah. Next
like
seven's not bad.
Shinryu's. Here's the other thing.
Mod's not terrible
you can play
either.
Chark. You can Chark it up. Chaos Arc.
Gross. Yeah, I know what you meant.
You can play Chaos Arc in this deck too.
I mean,
Simple.
with the way the meta works right now,
Chaos Arc
Chark
not bad.
is more than likely back in play because there's
And
so
a lot
many
of people are
multicolor
scared of it
decks.
because it's simple.
Yep.
It says still a dude. You get to play a 9-drop that says
Break
for
a dude,
free,
bitch
break
two.
a dude, pitch 2. Like,
Bitch
it's
2.
Real good.
Bitch 2.
Yep. Bitch 2.
Mill 2, please. And then I put Cloud on here. Cloud needs no explanation.
Yeah. Super simple.
Dang it. This wasn't the deck I I'll get to it later with you.
We'll talk about
it. And then Surges, because he dulls the dude a Frieza
Surges.
dude, which is just generically good. Honestly, I'm okay with that.
Something I learned this weekend that I actually hate, and this is a tangent again.
Is it the Victoria thing?
No, what Victoria thing?
Oh, there was a event not too long. I think it was the KC Materia Cup, where I can't remember who it was. Somebody played Victoria, and their opponent had nothing on board. And they had to kill their Victoria because Victoria can only target. She has to target A forward.
No. Leo and Sergi's are really good 3-drops that get protected by wool.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's so disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. I played 3 fucking wolves this weekend. I hate it. Yeah, but that's kind of the deck. It's real neat how toolboxy the deck is.
It is very toolboxy.
Like, if you want a game plan, you can kind of go to the game plan. Like, I've had builds where I play Une, Hecaton shares, Fenrir's, and my entire goal is just blow up my opponent's entire back row. I've played goals where the entire idea is just wool hard cast and just going straight into it. Or I've had ones where I just ignore it and we play like, I did like an Earth Fire build that was practically just Earth Fire outside of like playing the core. And all its plan was we got to play Avalanche, but we also, because Bosch is nuts. Bosch is not the card that I didn't put on the list, but you can play.
Yeah. Because Bosch will search for any of your core pieces that matter.
We got to play Earth Fire, but we still got to just put out wool anyways, because we played Lexa, so we could play Cecil and play things for free. And you get to play Tyro still. Like, it's just, there's so much toolboxing and open windows. You can just play almost any play style while also still playing inside Soirees as a core element.
Overall, Soiree does what Nintendo don't. Think on that for a second.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I know. That was
Disgusting.
I don't have a tagline yet, James. I'll never get one.
This has been the Soiree best damn deck. Make sure to like, comment.
Sure, talk like you're announcing to this. And this has been the 7 o'clock news. Hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always,
stay alert.